products are the medicines, the pills that we take to improve our health, to avoid the disease. Products are the medicines. Okay, now we are on live on YouTube. So I work with this kind of thing, and it's good to talk about. So today we will discuss about the off-label use of drug products. I don't know if you remember, Andrea, once we discussed this topic, I will put it at the chat for you. Did you listen this word, off-label use? And first of all, I would like to know about you. What is your understanding, your knowledge about this word? Andrea, what is the meaning of label use for you? Did you listen something of it? No?
No, I have never listened before, but on the context, yes, on the context of label, I don't know. No? Maybe can be a drug that you can use. Oh,
I think it's like genéricos in Portuguese, no?
No.
No?
No.
Sorry.
But you are introducing some words about drug products that are important as well.
Yeah.
It is not the same of genericals, but genericals is some kind of drug product. Yes.
I don't know. I've never seen this word, but I could imagine that it's maybe something related to homemade drugs that you do to feel better, that doesn't have a regulation for it. It's just sometimes it works and then you take it, but it doesn't mean that it's regulated by the government, that it comes between a process of industrialization and stuff like that, maybe.
It is almost this meaning. It is almost this meaning, because of course you are correct in your way. There are some drug products that we don't have a legislation for them, and some of them we just know. For example, a tea, to do exercises could be a medicine for us, or a mix of some things, food, kind of food that could be good. I will put the meaning of off-label use for you in the chat. Let me see. I will put it here. Okay. So this term can mean that the drug is used for a disease or medical condition that is not approved to treat, such as when chemotherapy is approved to treat one type of cancer, but healthcare provides use it to treat a different type of cancer. So this is the meaning, but in a normal situation, I will give you an example. Did you see the medicine Ozempic? Maybe did you listen something? I will say because Ozempic is a medicine that is prescribed to diabetes, but a huge of people is using to lose weight. And in fact, this kind of medicine is very good to lose weight. So it's a fever of people using Ozempic to lose weight. So this is a kind of off-label use. Another off-label use, let me see. Dramin is prescribed to increase the feeling of the bad feeling in the stomach ache and other things. But people use to sleep sometimes, Dramin. So this is a off-label use, a use that is not described in the label. The label is the paper that describe the use of, yes, in fact, the chloroquine. This is a thing that we need to have
It is very polemic.
a polemic of label use, but in fact,
Maybe ergogenics too. The ergogenics, which is although I am getting the word from Portuguese and trying to use the same structure in English, but drugs for performance, right? Like people that go to the gym, sometimes they take hemogenin, which is for treatment of cancer, that can increase your body mass. So they use that for another purpose. So maybe it's the same idea, right?
Yes, all right. This is the meaning of the off-label use. So people use it out of the study that in fact that medicine was developed. So there is a huge of drug products that we use in this context of label use. So guys, now we have some questions to discuss this point of view, and I'm going to check your opinion about it. It's some polemic, but it is good to understand. So I'd like to have your participation here. So Breno, we can start with you. Can you choose a question for us? You can read, provide your opinion, and then choose another person to respond as well. Okay? Can you start?
Yes, let me choose one. Let me start with the first one. I normally avoid to use medicine if it's not prescribed by a physician, because when I do that, I don't know, I'm not a medicine guy, you know. I don't like it. I rather stay at home and chill, because I know that my body itself is working alone to fight against all the illness that I might be going through. So it's funny because I normally say that I just get some drinks of water and that's my relief for pain, right? But of course, when it's too much, I like to go to the physician and see what's going on. Thank God I'm really healthy. I have no issues. So far, so good. I'm 31. I know that from this age, maybe if I don't be careful, I can have more symptoms of and be more exposed to illness and, you know, pains, etc. But yeah, but that's it. Basically, it's this. I don't like it, but especially I like to just to mention real quick, when it comes to skin. For example, I have in the past I had problems with my skin. You know, I don't know how to say this in English, but in Portuguese it's espinha, and I had some problems with it, and then I went to the dermatologist so we can figure out and find a way. So I followed the description, so that's it, you know. But in general, I don't like it. I like to avoid it. And what about you, Andre?
Yes, number two, right? The question? Yes. Do you usually use drug products for any pain, or do you avoid to use it? I am like Breno. I don't like to take medicine. I usually have headache every day, but I don't like to take a medicine. I like to take a medicine. What else? I have to take a medicine if I am dying, because I believe that when you take a medicine, depending on the situation, for example, if I have a headache, a little headache, and you take a medicine, in the future, I believe that it's not work properly, because your body will get accustomed, I don't know, get used to take the medicine. So I avoid, but if I am dying, I have to take something, but only this, if I am dying. And how about you, Felipe?
For me as well, I don't like the medicine. When I got COVID, I just a little sick. I don't have a problem with COVID, and just take a medicine when I so weak. That's it.
Yes, guys, me neither. As you.
Sick. Sorry, probably weak, sick.
Yeah, it's correct. Yeah, the word is correct. And me neither. I don't like to use drug products. Even I work with them every day. But I know all the impurities that we have inside of them. And nowadays, we have a lot of studies proving the absence of toxicity on that, especially about the impurities, solvents that are used to produce them. But as you know, a drug product is composed by a chemical component and is stranded in your body. Maybe it is bad. And so one thing is you use it one day, other thing it is you use every day. So as always in our life, the balance of things are important. So I don't usually use drug products for any pain. Only if I'm dying, as André, I avoid to use. But when I need to use, I use, because I really trust on them. I know the studies of efficacy, safe, and quality of them, and they are so safe for us. Okay, so now, Andrea, can you choose another question for us, please?
Yes. Number 5, guys. Do you consider important this scientific evolution when we talk about the discovery of new medicines? I think it's important, because the scientific, it's the way to prove that the medicine it will work for us. So for me, it's very important. And you, Breno?
Sorry, I was muted. I just wonder what question was this? I just lost point.
Number 5.
Okay. Do you consider important It depends. I don't know. I'm not sure if I can answer that question. I have no knowledge enough to to opinate about this, because nowadays we have so much information, right? And and in general, I would say that it's important, if you are assuming that they are taking this really serious. When I say they, I say the industry of medicines in general. Scientific evolution is important to the world. But at the same time, I feel like we should focus more on natural ways of being healthy instead of working on scientific studies to find solutions to heal our illness and sick, right? So, for example, I watched a video of this man that he was on YouTube, if I'm not wrong, on TED Talks, and then he was talking about his dog. Actually, it's not related to the humans, but he said that his dog has lived for 20 years, I think, 22 or something like that. And it's not common for dogs, right? Dogs normally last just until 16 years old, or I think that's it, 12 to 15 years old. So he said that the way he found to the dog live so much was that he adds natural food to his food, like we normally do in Brazil, right? Especially in the countryside. I remember that when I was a kid, we used to give the leftovers to the dog. And of course, our leftovers is not that natural. It's full of mix of, of con- condimentos. I forgot this. I have to search that word actually. And a lot of things. But the dog's word is strong and healthy. What I want to say with all of this is that if you find ways to live better and to keep healthy, eating good, having quality of life, prioritizing our mental health, I would say that it's even better, if we as society, we focus more on this instead of treatment of pains and sickness and illness. That's it.
Okay, Felipe, go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry, I thought that you had answered that, Felipe.
No problem. I consider important the scientific evolution, but for me, the same that Breno said about the natural life. I think is the industry create the disease, to sell the medicine is after, create the. I don't have it proof, but we know that the industries, the pharmaceutical industry is very rich, and I don't know, in the Amazon has a lot of medicines, natural medicines, which the humanity don't discover, I think we have to discover too much forms to improve the health, to natural health.
Of course, I agree with you. Okay. I agree with you guys. I think that almost of disease we can avoid having a healthy life. You can avoid, for example, high pressure, diabetes, cancer, maybe. If you have a healthy life in terms of food and exercise and sleep the suitable hours per day. So I think that we can avoid almost of disease. But in my opinion, this evolution, the scientific evolution, was so amazing for some of disease that we didn't have treatment. For example, infections promoted by bacteria. In the last years, people died by a simple infection, and today we have antibiotics and some of drug products that help us. And this is something that makes me thinking about, for example, for diabetic, we know I don't know if you know the history about it, but it was a scientist, a researcher that discovered that some sample of a liquid extracted of the pigs could promote the increase of the insulin in the body, and they injected that liquid, and the kids simply wake up of that kind of diet that they are suffering. So this is amazing, in my opinion. But I totally agree with you that we needed to emphasize and try to provide some ways to do the natural things to be high in our society, in our family, in our life. And we can avoid a lot of disease just doing this kind of things in our life. So I totally agree with you. I don't know. Do you have another thing to do? No, Breno?
No, I just want to. I just remember the word I was looking for in my past sentence is condimentos, which means seasoning.
Oh, seasoning. Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to share with you. But I agree with you. We can go ahead to another question.
Thank you so much. So now, Felipe, can you choose a question for us, please?
Yes. Question 4. Do you know or imagine how was the treatment for pain in the past? I think is to you know you said Sarah in the past a lot of diseases.
A lot of years ago. So fast. Yes, before the penicillin, before some years ago.
Rock time.
Yes, maybe they had a treatment. Do you imagine?
I think it didn't have treatment. People just die, I think. dying young, too much young than now, I think. But sometimes, for example, the indigenous, in the past, for sure, they have too much medicines, natural medicines. But I don't know what how was the treatment specific. But I think there are too many herbs. I think herbs. Breno, you.
Let me think. I would say that, yeah, I agree with you when you say that people would die for dumb reasons. Let's say because we don't have the treatment and the basic of everything. What's the question, by the way? It's number 7? No.
4. Number 4.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So in the first era, I would say that we were living the natural selection, right? So the human beings has to die so they could adapt to new diseases that were coming. So I would say that they would die easily, but at the same time they were getting stronger age by age, era by era. They were getting stronger, but there is no medicines for this. I believe. I would say that, for example, maybe I like history, so maybe we would have natural medicines. For example, the shamans, which is the indigenous from North America and in some part of the South America too. For example, Bolivia, we have those countries that we have the shamans, which is the like pages that they have medicines, natural medicine. They are really old. So I would say that they could use those medicines at the time for certain disease, but not all of them. And for example, when we go to the era of the great wars, like World War One and World War Two, that's why what amazes me more about war is that at the same time you have the pain and the sad part of the war, which is death and disgrace and terror. But on the other hand, you have lots of evolution in terms of technology and medicine and scientific medicine, right? So people died at the time because of cholera, because of some disease that we have a solution today, right? So I would say that in the past was a sad period for everyone. I am not sure if I would say that I would like to live in that period, because there are a question here in TALKNTALK in few meetings that we had, that they were asking me if I want to be, what age I would like to be, like the middle age or and I say, I don't know, man. I feel like this time is the best time to live, you know. Each time has its problems. We are facing new problems, but I would say that it's even better to live these days, than those days. I'd say that's it. What about you, Andrea? Did you answer that question? Okay.
No, not yet. I totally agree with you guys, but the first thing that comes to my mind is in the past. I can imagine the imagine it, people drinking alcoholic drinking to not feel the pain, because there is not medicine in that time. So we see in old films people drinking vodka, I don't know, alcoholic things in order to lose the pain. Yes, that's it.
That's really interesting, Andrea, because until today, people still drink alcohol to try to heal some disease, sometimes mental disease that they
Yes.
cannot heal, right? And it's sad. It's not funny, it's sad, but it's interesting to realize that, right?
Yeah.
Until now, people use
Yes, right.
alcohol
For
to
pain,
avoid
yes.
the disease, yeah, to avoid pain.
You know what? I'm gonna say something really delicate here, but it's not delicate. The word is it's kind of polemic, but it's not polemic too that I want to say. I will look for the word later. But there are, for example, treatment for pain of tooth. I'm not sure if it's tooth or teeth in the plural. I always struggle with that. But that people use marijuana for the tooth or teeth when it's hurting. You can take marijuana for this and you don't feel the pain. You know, it's temporarily good for the teeth. It's just something that I want to mention because you have lots of possibilities that we cannot have because of the law and regulations that we should consider start thinking about that. No, it's not like, okay, let be free, let it go free, but let's start considering thinking about that. I would say that sometimes it's important.
Yes, I totally agree with you guys. There is something that I always think about this situation, that when I imagine how was the treatment for pain in the past, imagine you are bitten by a snake. Today, you run to the hospital, they do the antidote that will promote the reaction and the pain and the bad thing in your member will disappear. In the past, guys, did you already see at the movies, they do the tourniquet at the member? And this is the worst thing that you could do when you are bit of the snake, because you close the poison in that member, and you increase the action of it in the member. So in the past, the people just remove the member, cut out, because it was not the other possibility in that moment. Nowadays, we have other possibilities. And this is something that I especially about it, to beat off a snake, I imagine how was in the past. Nowadays, we have a treatment for it. So guys, let me see. Now I will choose. I'm going to choose a question for us. Let me see. Question number 7. Do you think that off-label use of drug products, as we said, the definition, could lead to any addiction? What do you think, Andrea? What is your opinion?
Yes, I think so. As you said before, if people that want to lose weight, for example, discover a product, a drug that they can use to lose weight, it will become an addiction. And I was thinking about, I don't know if the same, but I was thinking about people that drink energetic, I don't know how to say in English, with alcoholic vodka, for example, or whiskey. It's energetic is not used to drink with whiskey or vodka, but there are people that drink together. I was thinking about it. I don't know if the same, like off label, but I was thinking in it. But I believe that can cause an addiction. And you, Felipe, what do you think?
For me, it's the same. Sorry, 7.
7, yes.
7, yeah.
I think off-label drugs, use of drugs could lead to an addiction. I think it depends of the people, but for me, it's not a problem. For Andrea, Breno, no. But a lot of people could be to addict in the future. And you, Breno?
I would say it depends of each person because, for example, it's a funny example, but when we were kids, we loved IS. And of course, that IS doesn't exist anymore, but maybe, you know, it exists. Oh, that's so funny. But yeah, it's, I forgot the word for this too, but if the person
my
has,
grandfather takes IS.
my goodness, tell him to give me some. So I can't remember. I told you I am a nostalgic guy, so that's one of the things that I really like in my past. So yeah, if you have the predisposition to be addicted, you will be, because some people, I'm aware that some people they use off-label drugs, but they are not using anymore on a daily basis. That's basically this. And Andrea, if you want to know the word of energetic, it's energy drink. I did a little search here.
Energy drink. Okay,
Yes,
thank you, Breno.
It's really close, actually. When you said, I think I was like, maybe it's energetic, but no, it's not. It's energy drink.
Energy drink. Okay, thank you.
Thank you too, Ben. Yes, I agree with you. There are people who could be addicted, could have an addiction about the off-label use, others no. And about it, I remember that it always in our life is a balance, as I said. As you said, about the IS is in fact a good example, but the other example it could be, let me see, people who use some drug products to sleep, and when he or she tries to remove this drug product, it is a hell. So it's so interesting in some cases. And this is a reason why I'm avoiding to take medicines in my life. I try to do everything. And when I'm dying, I take the medicine. So, yes, to conclude, Breno, please choose another question for us, please.
Considering all advanced scientific for drugs, drug products, do you think that we could live without them? I would say yes. But at the same time, a lot of people would die, but the humanity wouldn't be deleted, right? because a good example was the pandemic, because we had no research for this for a long period, and people died, but we found a way, right? Of course, it was scientific studies and products, but we would find a way. I would say that what differs us from the animals is that we are adaptable so more quickly than the animals, because animals are also adaptable, right? So, but it takes more time for them to adapt. But for us humans, we can use more uh, our brain, and because of that, we can always adapt. So it's basically this: we could, yes, live without the advanced scientific for drug products, but for sure, life would be even more easier if we have them. What about you, Andrea?
Yes, I agree with you because as we are talking about, I don't like to take medicine, so I can live without medicine because I am not dying or I am not have I'm not I don't have some disease. But depending on the situations, if you have some disease, uh, you need to take some medicines. And the advantage that we have nowadays is it's important. If you're thinking about the cancer, for example, uh, my mother has cancer. Unfortunately, we discovered a few months, and thank God she's in treatment. But imagine it if we don't have some advantages of advance in this how can I say this disease. It would be so hard to deal with. So I believe we can live without take medicine, without concern about this thing. But if you have some disease, I believe that it's very important. And you, Felipe?
We have to the balance is the best. I'm not cheetah in Portuguese. Cheetah. I know I can live it without them, but if I needed to medicine, I will take as well in the pandemic, the vaccines, for example. There are people that don't use don't take medicines and don't take vaccines, but for example, I'm doing exercise every day. I'm healthy. I eat salad, and I'm totally healthy. But if you sick, I needed to take medicine.
Yes, I agree with you guys. We could remove, but I think that it would be so sad. For example, Felipe told about vaccines. Imagine the recent born, the little child that just born. They took a lot of vaccines to avoid disease and disease that already disappeared. For example, poliomyelitis, febre amarela, other disease, the sarampo. And yes, a lot of people would die. And I think that drug products and vaccines, the treatments are so important nowadays, and they avoid our diet. So guys, thank you so much for your participation here. We have a survey for this time. I will put the link on the chat. We are on time. We need to conclude now. But I would say this time was lovely for me. It was a pleasure to be here with you. I wish you all a good night, a good weekend, a good carnival. And of course, I see you on the next meeting. Thank you so much for your time here. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Sarah.
See you
Bye-bye,
next time.
guys.
So bye bye.